US-led coalition strikes kill pro-regime forces in Syria. The US-led coalition fighting ISIS in Syria conducted air and artillery strikes against pro-regime forces in Syria on Wednesday, killing an estimated 100 pro-regime fighters, according to a coalition statement. The coalition described its action, which if confirmed could represent the largest number of pro-regime casualties inflicted by the US-led coalition, as carried out in self-defense. Syrian state news agency SANA described the action as an aggression by the coalition against popular forces who were fighting ISIS and the US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces. The attack had left scores of persons dead and others injured and caused huge damage to the area, SANA added. According to a coalition statement, its strikes were carried out after forces allied with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad initiated an unprovoked attack against a well-established Syrian Democratic Forces headquarters where coalition advisors were working with US-backed Syrian fighters. Some 500 pro-regime troops carried out the attack using artillery, mortar fire and Russian-made tanks in what appears to be a coordinated attack on Syrian Democratic Forces, a U.S. military official said. The official said that about 20 to 30 artillery and tank rounds landed within 500 meters of the Syrian Democratic Forces headquarters before the US-backed fighters and coalition forces targeted the aggressors with a combination of air and artillery strikes. We estimate more than 100 Syrian pro-regime forces were killed while engaging Syrian Democratic Forces and coalition forces, the official said. This action was taken in self-defense, he said, adding that pro-regime forces that returned across the river had not been targeted. The official said no coalition or U.S. personnel had been killed or wounded in the engagement but that one member of the Syrian Democratic Forces was wounded. The coalition said the attack took place in Qushm in the Middle Euphrates River Valley, 5 miles east of the agreed-on deconfliction line designed to separate Russian-backed regime troops and US-backed forces in Syria. He said the coalition suspected that pro-regime forces were attempting to seize territory, including lucrative oil fields, that the Syrian Democratic Forces had liberated from ISIS in September. They were likely seeking to seize oil fields in Qushm that had been a major source of revenue for Daesh from 2014 to 2017, the official said, using the Arabic acronym for ISIS. Russian hotline. Another U.S. official who spoke to CNN said it was unclear exactly who the pro-regime forces were but that the U.S. is looking into whether Russian contractors operating in the vicinity might have been involved. This official added that there is no direct evidence yet that the Russians had fired on the Syrian Democratic Forces facility where the U.S. advisors were located. They have not ruled out that Iranian-backed forces might have also been involved in the attack, this official said. The coalition cannot speculate on the exact makeup of the Syrian pro-regime forces who conducted the attack at this time, the U.S. military official said. The U.S. military official said the coalition had informed Russia of the presence of pro-regime forces in the area before the attack via a hotline established as part of the deconfliction line, adding that the coalition had observed a buildup of pro-regime troops over the past week. Coalition officials were in regular communication with Russian counterparts before, during and after the thwarted, pro-regime forces attack, the military official said. Russian officials assured coalition officials they would not engage coalition forces in the vicinity. Asked Thursday about the US-led coalition action, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov referred questions to the Russian Ministry of Defense. The U.S. maintains about 2,000 troops in Syria, who mostly work with the over 50,000-strong Syrian Democratic Forces, a mix of Kurdish and Arab fighters who have been the primary U.S.-backed force fighting ISIS in Syria. This is not the first time the U.S. military has clashed with pro-regime forces in Syria. A U.S. Navy F/A-18 shot down a Syrian regime Su-22 jet last June that had attacked U.S.-backed forces on the ground. Coalition aircraft have struck regime forces who were perceived as posing a threat to a base at Tanf, Syria, that houses U.S. and coalition military advisors. The U.S. also shot down a pro-regime drone after it dropped ammunition in the vicinity of U.S. troops in Syria.